So this video is for those who are lazy. If you're watching this video, then God has bestowed this video upon you saying, hey, you lazy guy, here is how you can still make money. Anyway, let's get started with the video's topic. Everything I'm talking about in this video comes from directly the source material of high output management. I read this book like a year ago and a lot has changed ever since. It has given me new perspective of thinking, working, and running my business. Anyway, so high output management is one of those niche books that not many people read. If you go through YouTube or any blogs and articles nowadays, they say, oh, if you want to get rich, read this book called 5 a.m. Work Week, or read this book called Think and Grow Rich, or read this book called whatever, just the mainstream books. These are good, but to be honest, if you want to have an edge, then you should read the books that not everybody is reading. And you should think and be creative. So this book is one of the best books in management, in my opinion. I've read 4 or 5 books so far, and this is the book that I resonate the most with. So anyway, if you're lazy, first of all, you should not be. But even if you are, then there are things that you can do to make sure your business thrives and grows and you hit your goal. Because at the end of the day, whoever does the task doesn't matter. If you have the leverage to hire somebody, then this is how you should do it. First of all, I assume you're either running SMMA or e-commerce store. And if you're running any of those, then what you should do is always hire from the top, not from the bottom. That is, don't hire customer service, don't hire VA, don't hire anything at first. Always hire the main key role or responsibility handling position, right? It can be marketing manager for e-commerce stores, or maybe COO for your agency or whatever. Try to hire that first, because when you hire the main roles, then you can just withdraw your hand from it. Once you hire the right people, once they understand the system, once they understand the KPIs, I'll talk about all of it in a bit. But yeah, always hire the main position. And here is how you hire, okay? Whenever you're hiring, you either go to any hiring site like Indeed, Fiverr, I don't know, you can go to Freelancer, etc., and try to find the right candidate from there for long-term work. And always make a good job description. You can use ChatGPT for it, but make sure to feed ChatGPT the right information. What your business is, how many hours you're working right now, what exactly the task is, what is general requirement for that particular task, etc., etc. Once that is done, post a job, take interviews. Here is how you take interview. Always have specific questions regarding the field, regarding the person, and regarding the future scenarios. That's what I always like to do. Once you have these questions in place, you ask yourself these questions, okay? So does he have 3 years of experience? If that is the minimum requirement for you. I generally like to go for people who has already had the experience, because hiring newbie in the top task is never a good idea. So answer these questions to yourselves. Ask this question and answer while you are having the interview, and give them a tick if they have. If they do not have, give them a cross. And as you have the interview, let them speak more. Ask questions, let them speak more. That helps you understand who they are as a person. And for tasks or for responsibilities that involves technology more than a person in itself, you can just ask them to show their results, ask them for specific technological questions, and you judge them on the basis of the answer that they give, right? So once you ask them, take at least 6 to 7 interviews minimum, because you can't just find one person and then be like, oh, this is the right guy. And once you find the right guy, then you come to the hiring part. And after you have hired the right person, if you don't feel like, oh, this is not the right person, then always make sure to fire them. Always remember, hire slow, fire fast. That's what I like. There are some people who likes to hire fast, fire fast as well. But I like to hire slow, because for me, I already have my systems, SOPs, everything in place. So as soon as somebody comes, it takes them 2 to 3 days to understand the system, and they will be able to take the responsibility by themselves. So once you have hired the person, here is what you're going to do now. You're going to create SOPs. Okay, so how do you create SOPs, and what is SOP? First of all, SOP is basically standard operating procedure. That is basically how your agency functions, what you do, how it is done, step by step. Always make it from the top to bottom again, not from the bottom to top. If it's marketing manager, then what are the tasks? How do you do it? How do you log into Facebook? If it's like Facebook ads, and what is the email? What is the password? Mention it there. And after that, how do you buy pages? What is the ad account plug that you have? Who provides you ad account? And stuffs like these. Mention it in a docs, Google Docs. Later on, you can shift to Trello, Asana, and Notion and other stuffs. But for now, just Google Doc would do fine. make it very, very detailed. But when you're starting out, it doesn't have to be detailed. Just write it down, okay, as you would do it in your own word. And when you send it to the first hire or first employee of yours, they would ask you questions. Whatever the answer is, write it in the doc itself so it gets filled properly, and it will be more detailed as you go, as it progresses. So it's like an ever-growing process, and if they don't understand it, you should make another SOP for it. So there will be lots of SOPs by the time you're growing your agency. And this is how businesses grow. You can't just expect, oh, I'm going to work 8 hours instead of 4 and I'll reach to 20K a month. You need people. That's how every businesses function. Right people, right SOPs, more and more systems in place. Hiring becomes easier like that. Growing becomes easier like that. Okay, so once you have your first hired employee, he's going to go through the work, he's going to read the SOP, and you call him every single day for the first few days. You call him, you ask him what you have done, you ask him for report, etc., etc. Okay, and by time you'll have to slowly let go and let him handle, because generally experienced people understand how things work, and they would be able to catch the processes themselves. And here is another important aspect. Always make the company culture file where you talk about what the company is, what they do, what your ideal clients are, how many hours of work how many hours in a week you work, what are your incentives, what are your values, how do you generally work, etc., etc., in detail. Because when you have a company culture and people go through it, they have expectation there. Okay, that's how you always have to make sure the things are when you are hiring somebody. And once they're hired, once they get good at it, then you hire another people. So you have to separate department. This is very important, a part of the video. Separate departments. One has to be working in one and taking the responsibility of that particular department. If it's marketing, then you have a marketing manager who is handling that department properly, and you just take calls with them, you just give them tasks, you just check the KPIs, which I'll come in a bit, and later on they will be responsible for the SOPs themselves as they get better. When you hire somebody in the marketing department, then he would be under the marketing head only. He would be handling the marketing team right there. He would be giving them tasks, and he would be reporting, the lower guy would be reporting to the marketing manager, and he would be reporting to you. That's how businessmen work. You don't just sit there and do the work yourselves. You need money for that to create this leverage. And that's why I say, when you make $5,000-$10,000 a month at the start, don't go and party and don't spend all the money. Unless you're making a fuck ton of money, don't go and waste all of your money. Hire right people. And once that is done, once the department is set, then later on you'll have this marketing department. One is going to be maybe client acquisition department, who is just working in client acquisition. For that, maybe you need a HR guy, or maybe a appointment setter with a lot of experience. He's going to be the head of it, and below him are going to be other appointment setters who is following up, who is taking the emails, who is replying to the emails. If you go to any agencies, for example, let's just go to the another let's just stray away from the path. If you go to any agencies, any firm, any company, maybe you're applying for a visa, or maybe you're going for a consultancy, what you see there is there are different departments. If you're running a marketing agency that is doing maybe 20-30K a month, if that's your goal, that's a lot of money. Even the agencies with big office don't do that much amount of money. So you think you can just do it with you and 3-4 people? That's the ideal situation. But if you want to be a proper marketer, there is a very good book, Advertisement by Ogilvy. Read that book. You'd understand the nuances of a agency. You get me? So once you have different departments in place, then both of them is going to coordinate in the future. Okay, so onboarding manager is going to let the marketing manager know that, hey, we are getting this client. He has already paid the money. And now it's the onboarding manager's job to coordinate with the marketing manager so that they can start the work themselves. You don't have to get in between. Always try to reduce steps it takes for a task to be done. This is very important. If there is 12 steps, then think how I can reduce it without reducing the quality of the work. Always think it in that way so that the work can be done faster. Remember, money loves speed, and as fast as you can be, the faster the money is going to be there. Try to reduce any nuances. If you're talking to the finance guy and then reporting to the manager, make them integrate between themselves in such a way that the quality is there, as well as you're getting properly reported. At the end of the day, your job will just be to hire, to manage, and to oversee them. You're not going to go and write emails or do the advertisement yourself. So if you're going to do it, you'll not have the clarity or the time to think. And as a CEO, as a businessman, a lot of your work is to think as well. At the start, you have to work, you have to know the business in and out. Later on, you hand over the work to right quality of people. Now let's come to KPIs. So all of this thing is going on, everything is working on in itself. So you might just think, oh, I can just retire now, it's passive money. That's now not how it works. So you'll have to set up KPIs. What is KPI? It's like an indicator basically of how the work is going. If you are e-commerce store, your main KPI should be how many sales you're doing in a month and what's your profit like. Okay, so marketing manager's KPI would be what's the ROAS like, what's the profit margin like, and their responsibility would be to increase the sales, increase the profit, increase everything. And if they do good, then you reward them. If they don't do good, you do not. You see where you can improve. That's when your job comes in. You see how you can improve that particular department. If it's client acquisition department, then the KPI would be how many leads you have and how many clients has been closed, how many people has been reached out, things like these. Be smart yourself and know what the KPIs are. If it's a design team, the KPIs would be how many clients like the design. What's the conversion rate like for the design, things like that. Make different KPIs and track it every day. Because as a CEO, you can't just be still. You should be continuously tracking, trying to make things better 1%. Remember the philosophy of Kaizen, 1% better every single day. And by the time by the long duration of time, you would be so good, you won't be able to recognize yourself. Make your service so good, and KPIs are key important factor to track them. And when the KPIs are good, make sure to reward your teammates as well. Give them a bonus, give them some gift. When it's bad, get on a call, 2-3 hours call, and you brainstorm things. Why is it not working? Who is the weakest link in your teammate? Have these conversations in private. Once you know, get on a call with them and understand their perspective. Why are they not performing well? And when you get nothing in return, then you can fire them again. And since you already have SOPs in place, when they are away, things won't slow down. You just hire a new member, he reads the SOP and gets integrated back to team real quick. This is very important. If someone is sick, if someone takes a leave, your work shouldn't stop. You should have strong SOPs so that can be replaced real quick. When you have marketing manager sick, maybe you can do it or his subordinate can take over the job, because SOPs are there. That's why SOPs are very important. Hiring right quality of people is very important. And then at last, when everything is running together and when things are going good, you don't have to slow down. This has happened to me. When I was running e-commerce business, I did 70 lakhs in a day, and I was making basically pretty good amount of money without working that much. I was just working 20 minutes a day, and the consistency slowly fades away. Remember this, whatever work you're putting right now doesn't show result right now. It shows generally within 15 to 30 days. That's what I've seen in e-commerce, in SMMA, in all of the businesses that I've been in. It takes 15 to 20 days for the results to show. So when you're doing good work for 15 to 20 days, the good results would come later 15 to 20 days. And when you're doing no work, when you're slacking off, the results would show again in 15 to 20 days. Remember it like that. Make team grow like this, and you'll see that, okay, now you'll have confidence that, okay, my business is going to grow, because you have the right quality of people and everyone is putting effort, and it becomes no-brainer to achieve your goal. Thank you very much. This is all for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then comment down below what you learned from today's video.